Welcome back to SnowRunner, guys, and today it's time to jump into a brand new mod truck by Glitchworks. Now, this is the GWC G3200 Quad Cab Dually, and it is based on a Chevy Squarebody, and it is also fully console friendly. Now, some interesting notes about this truck. One of the most interesting to me, actually, is the fact that this is a gas-powered truck, not a diesel-powered truck. Now, normally you would expect a truck like this, you know, a four-door long bed dually, to be diesel-powered, but back in this particular era, and Glitchworks actually goes into this in the mod description, the most powerful options were the big block gas engines, and that's what this truck is running. Now, without any further ado, let's fire it up, get it in the garage, and see what all we can do to it in terms of customization, and then we'll take it out for some driving. It's definitely got that classic startup sound for sure. It looks really good too. All right, time to get it on into the garage. Now, in terms of what we are starting off with, we've got the stock 396. Then from there, we can go up to a 454 or a 572. And y'all know it. We got to go with the 572 in this thing. Now, gearbox-wise, we're going with the, I'm thinking probably the 4-speed off-road to start, and then the 6-speed highway when we go to launch this thing off the bridge jump. Then suspension-wise, we got normal height, we got heavy duty, and then, of course, we got monster truck. And he says himself in the description, yes, it is ridiculous. And it kind of is. Now, let's see. I think we'll start with heavy duty, and then we'll go to monster truck from there. Now, your starting tire size is going to be 31s, and he actually gives you the grip stats on the tires themselves. So, say for example, right here on these 43-inch highway tires, asphalt 4.0, dirt 1.2, and mud 1.0. That's obviously going to be really slick in anything off-road, obviously with them being highway tires. Now, you got the oversized highway tires as well, which are definitely an interesting option for sure. Now, all-terrain-wise, let's see. Ooh, he's got some interesting ones in here. I'm digging them, actually. I actually really like these. The mil-spec off-road tire. Well, there's the mil-spec, and then there's the heavy-duty. I like the heavy-duty, personally. Then you get into the mud tire options. Now, whoa, okay. The monster tires kind of delete the dually aspect, but it's fine. Don't worry about it. Now, keep in mind, though, that without the monster suspension, we can't really fit the monster tires. So I'm thinking, ooh, and you've even got some chained options and studded options if you're going to be using this thing in an icy or snowy environment. Now, we're not going to be testing those today, but we will be using the 43-inch dually mud tires because I think those look amazing. We're going to go with the Stage 4 winch. Snorkel-wise, we're definitely putting one on. And we could go with the single slot flatbed, which can obviously haul one slot of cargo, but we're going to go with the gooseneck hitch. And let's see. Oh, you could do an aero net or a tailgate. I dig that. I might actually do the aero net just because it's a little bit different. Cab lights and visor, definitely. Bumper 1, 2, and 3 in the back. We're going to do bumper 2. I really dig that kind of, that look that's very, like, you know, industrial. And then you can do a bed cap, but we're not going to do that, or at least I'm not going to do that because of the simple fact that we are running a gooseneck hitch. Although I will do that racerback because I think it's very, like, it's very time period accurate. Now, let's see. Side steps. I don't know if I want to go with any of those. Personally, I might just do these, the V2s, and we'll do the cowl hood. Grill-wise, ooh, we could do the billet grill. The billet grill looks pretty sick. Now, dually bed, obviously we've got that there. And I might do the angled exhaust. I really like the look of the angled exhaust. And, oh, dude, absolutely, like the old school style metal bumper with the winch mounted directly on top like that. You got some heavy-duty wheels from the default game actually available on this truck, and some of them look right at home, actually. I'm going to leave the first ones on there. I like them a lot. Now, you've got a lot of color options in terms of solid and two-tone, and really whichever direction you go on that is entirely up to you. So, in terms of what I want to go with on this build, though, I like the white and the blue. I like the white and the red, actually. The white and the red looks really, really nice. So does the yellow. So does the orange. Ooh, the white with the bright red looks absolutely incredible, though. That's definitely the setup right there. All right, let's fire this thing up. Every time I fire it up, it never gets old. That startup sound genuinely never gets old because it's right to the point. It is like, there's nothing that this thing is, you know, it is not hiding anything at all about the character that it brings to the table. It is ready to work 100% of the time. Let's see. Oh yeah, 6-unit flatbed gooseneck. I will say though, these mud tires, when he said they were slippy on pavement, he wasn't kidding. So if you're gonna be using this thing on a map like, say for example, Highway Holland, I might recommend considering other tire options if you're gonna be on pavement a lot. So let's throw some. What do we want to throw in the back, actually? We got cabins as an option. We got engine assemblies. We've got, ooh, we can throw a Sequoia back there. And then we'll do a Sequoia, and then maybe we'll do a Sequoia tree and some blocks. That's not really a combination that I could see you carrying very often in game, but either way, it suits our purposes here in terms of, you know, weight-focused testing. Now, let's see. I think we're gonna head to the right off the bat. Oh, that stopping distance is very bad, at least when you have the mud tires with, you know, like, with a lot of weight behind you on a paved surface. Obviously, the stopping distance isn't gonna be the greatest. That's nothing against the mod itself. That's just kind of to highlight how much you have to be aware of that when you're using a tire like this on pavement. All right, let's see what this thing does in high through the freaking water. Also, by the way, it looks absolutely incredible. I am saving that. Oh my god. That is 100% worth saving as a photo. That, I was like, because here's the thing. I was not planning on taking a photo of this thing this early into it, but like, when you have a moment like that, at least for me, like when I have a moment like that where I'm like, oh my god, this thing looks incredible and I need to take a photo of it, I literally stopped to take a photo of it right then and there. It's got so much torque. I mean, it literally recovered itself in high without, I never took it out of high. I basically never lifted either. I was like, seriously? It didn't even need me to. Come on. Literally just getting into it with the torque. Keep in mind, we're on the hauling suspension right now, but we're actually gonna change things up just a little bit. Let's throw the monster setup on it and see how that flexes. I can already tell you it moves around a lot more, but I want to see how that flexes in the rocks, and then what we'll do is we'll go back down and grab that trailer and reinstall the, we'll reinstall the towing suspension. The beauty of having dev tools, you literally have an on-the-fly garage. Long wheelbase things, come on! Actually, the long wheelbase kind of helped us out there, so I'm not against the long wheelbase if it's helping us. I think we might be, well, maybe I spoke a little too soon in terms of the long wheelbase helping us, so we'll see if we can actually solve this dilemma. Oh wow, okay, no winch attachment points or anything at all. Yike. Alright, I may or may not have put myself into a scenario that I did not need to be in. I really hope that these tires are good in mud, because I don't think, I mean, they're okay on rocks, but they're not like anything, you know, super incredible on rocks. I was right there for a second. I was like, am I about to save myself? And then that was very quickly answered with a nope. All right, let me throw a 6-door F450 right here. And we're going to use this as just a dedicated anchor point to flip that truck back over again. Or not. Okay, maybe we're going to have to start it up and go. Yep, there we go. Don't you dare flip over the other direction. I will not allow you to do that. Absolutely not. All right, repair and refuel and go. Now, it's time to put the hauling suspension back on it because we're going to go back and grab that trailer. But the whole reason why I wanted to, like, bring the whole setup over here was so that we could essentially launch this thing into the mud. I mean, when I say launch it, I mean launch it. Like, freaking launch this thing into the mud. Because I've got high hopes for these mud tires. I really, really do. Because in my mind, I'm like, well, if they're that, like, slippy on pavement, they've got to be good somewhere, right? And if that somewhere is in the mud, then I've got some pretty high hopes. It still gets into high range, though, like, when you're actually moving on pavement. It's not like it can't use high range on pavement, but it's like, it's one of those things where you just got to make sure you're in the right speed range to use it. I love the working tack and the working speedometer, though. All right, putting it in a high. Let's go. Okay, I don't know if it's feeling that. Oh, diff lock's always on. Oh, okay, all right. I didn't realize the diff lock was always going to be on. It's got some good traction, though, so you could leave it in automatic mode, just turn the all-wheel drive on, let the full-time diff lock do its thing, and essentially drive through whatever muddy area you would like. Although I will tell you that if you like a little bit more of a challenging experience when it comes to mud, this will definitely give that to you. It's definitely tuned to give that to you. Depending on what tire options you go with, you can obviously switch up the grip. Now, I'm not sure where these tires sit in relation to some of the other tires in terms of overall mud capability, but I could definitely tell you that based on the experience I'm having right now in this mud, it's probably not going to do all that well in the deeper mud lanes. So this should kind of give you guys a overall idea of how it's going to do in like some what I would call surface level mud, but I don't know if I would advise taking it into stuff that's a lot deeper than this. Now, that's not a criticism of this mod, that's just more of something that I find when I compare it to a lot of the other trucks that I've tested. You know, it's definitely going to give you a little bit more of that challenging experience and that challenging vibe, so you will have to plan your route when you're using it in different locations in the campaign. And if you have a really deep mud section coming up, definitely be aware and definitely be on your guard when it comes to actually driving this thing right into some deep mud. Especially if you just plunge it right in, you'll probably get stuck pretty dang quick. Now, the dips obstacle is coming up next, and I really don't know if this thing is going to actually do that well through the dips obstacle or not. It's got all the power, it's got all the torque, but I'm a little bit concerned about a couple of different elements with the wheelbase and, you know, the wheelbase, the trailer, all that stuff. Let's see how it does. So far, it's actually not doing too bad. I'm impressed. Can you find... Oh, it's like perched on the trailer. Oof. All right, let's detach the trailer and we'll go from there, because I wonder how much of this was based on, like, solely on the fact that the trailer was kind of, like, weighing it down. So I've thrown the slightly more flexible monster suspension on it, and we'll see how it rolls out from here. It's doing pretty well. I mean, as long as you keep in mind how incredibly wide it is and how incredibly... Oh my god, we had a wheel in the air for a long time right there. We're gonna have to keep an eye on that, because that could, like, that could end in some sketchy scenarios for us. Some very sketchy scenarios for us. Making our way out of the dips obstacle now. And at this point, it's just about time to uninstall the slow off-road transmission and install the highway transmission, and also make a slight change on the tire setup, because keep in mind, we have the monster suspension, we just haven't necessarily switched it up with the monster tires just yet. Oh dear. So I'm in a gear that isn't allowed. Hold on. There we go. Now I gotta put it back into automatic, and then I gotta switch it back to highway, and then I gotta make sure, okay, because that gear is not available. Like, low plus and low minus are not available in the highway box, and I didn't realize that, so, yeah. When I switched it up, I was like, oh, this will be fine. I'm just gonna shift it out of low plus and back into automatic. This thing said, low plus is not an allowable gear, and I was like, oh, okay, all right, so back to the transmission shop, I guess. Now, in terms of how it's going to do off the bridge jump, if it doesn't nosedive, it's got a pretty good run at going over the barrels. My only concern is that, like, I don't know what kind of top speed we're going to hit, and I'm sure it'll be a decent one, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to give us that launch, essentially. Let's make our way up the rest of the hill. It hasn't shifted into 6th yet, though, so 6th could be some kind of crazy power gear. There's 5th. 6th. Building speed, let's go! Wow, that was insanely smooth. I mean, that was so smooth and so even. I mean, that was one of the best runs off of the bridge jump I have seen from any large dually in a long time. Well, I say large dually. Dually in most senses and most wheel setups, just not this wacky monster setup. But honestly, I really, really like this truck. And if you're looking for another square body, dually, long bed crew cab to add to your garage or add to your collection, especially if you're on console, definitely give this thing a look. Glitch did a great job on it. And if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know any thoughts and opinions you may have in the comment section down below. And if you're new around here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn those notifications on. And I will see you guys next time. Talk to y'all later.